Earlier today, I saw a comment on a video of mine who was basically telling me that when I mentioned some criticism that I had of the game, as I have with every game that I've ever reviewed, that I was actually just being selfish and ungrateful to the creators of the game, and that there actually wasn't any flaws with the game. It was truly immaculate, and that really just kind of stuck with me. And I wanted to make a video today kind of talking about a specific kind of fandom that is really problematic, I think, and unhealthy. There's a few different kinds of fans out there. There's the casual fan, people who like they'll watch a new movie that comes out in a movie series because they like it. You know, they'll play the new game when it comes out, but otherwise they don't really think about it too much. It's not on the forefront of their minds at all times. Like, I would consider myself a casual fan of the Star Wars films. No real strong opinions on any of them, really. But there are some people who take it a step further, who are more dedicated fans, and these are the people who will play every game that comes out in the franchise, the people who like to have discussions about these games, honest intellectual discussions about these games, who will talk about how they loved this game, how maybe it could have been better in these other aspects, and just, you know, talk about everything to do with that game. But then there's this dreaded third category of people who I call blind fans. And blind fandom is, well, it's a problem. Blind fans are basically the people who are the stands of a series, the people who believe that the games are immaculately conceived and flawless in every conceivable way. And it doesn't necessarily have to be every game in the series. It could just be even that just one game. You could be a stan, you could be a blind fan to a single game in the series and not maybe even know it. I mean, what exactly is the problem with blind fandom? Can't people just like what they like? Well, sure they can, of course. But blind fandom takes it from I liked this game to this is an objectively great game to this game is perfect. And finally, this is the greatest game of all time, and anybody who disagrees is evil. Very few people probably take it to that extreme, but some people actually do take it that far. You often hear it, anybody who doesn't believe that this is the greatest game of all time are just haters, right? Yeah, I mean, we've all seen these comments on Reddit and in YouTube comments, and it's kind of rampant because that's what social media has kind of done over the years to fandoms. It made it so that only the most extreme opinions get pushed to the top because that's the kind of opinion that sparks comments and responses and interaction. Nobody's going on to YouTube and looking for nuanced opinions about a certain topic. These extreme opinions are what clickbait is, and it's why clickbait works. People want easy answers, they want the big win, they want the decisive victory. So what can we actually do, though, about blind fandom? And I think that really the only answer I've come up so far is to try to recognize it in ourselves, which is kind of difficult to do. It requires some real self-reflection. But what is your favorite game? What is your favorite TV show, your favorite movie? And what is a part of that game or TV show or movie that could have been done better? What was the worst part about those? Can you think of anything? If not, you might be a blind fan. Look up some criticism of your favorite games, of your favorite media, and how does that make you feel? Are you insulted? Are you angry? Well, if so, you're probably a blind fan, and that's something you probably need to work on. I mean, the first step to fixing any problem is, of course, acknowledging that you have that problem, and there is a problem with being a blind fan. The very first big and obvious problem with being a blind fan is that nobody wants to talk to you about it. That's the truth, is that nobody wants to deal with the vitriol. Not really. Being a blind fan is a conversation ending point, right? It's a dead end for a conversation. It's, I like this game, but, there was a few parts of it that I didn't really care for.
Oh, well, you're just wrong about that.
Games have flaws because they're made by humans, and humans have flaws. It's willful ignorance, and it's a problem. But if love is blind, shouldn't fandom be blind? I don't think so. I personally really don't like that phrase that love is blind, because love is not blind. Infatuation is blind. Love is all-seeing, but it is forgiving. And that's how I feel for a lot of the games that I love. I can see their flaws, but I still love them anyway. And if you think that you're a fan, but you're just blind to all of its flaws, are you really in love with the game that exists, or are you just in love with a version of the game that only exists in your mind, a photoshopped image of the picture of that game in your mind? Our flaws and our idiosyncrasies are part of what make us unique and special as human beings, and the same thing goes for the media that we consume. It's slight idiosyncrasies, its slight imperfections here and there that give it charm and character. The voice acting in Resident Evil 1 is objectively bad. However, it is those flaws that make the game just feel timeless and funny.
What are you saying, Lean? I should be the one saying that.
It's one of the things that makes the game special. If you love a game, or even if you love a person, don't say that that person or that game is flawless. Acknowledge those flaws and love that game or person, flaws and all. One of my many favorite games is Earthbound on the Super Nintendo, but I acknowledge that it has a terrible inventory management system, and it also drags in some parts of the game. The battle system isn't exactly showy. It's kind of boring to watch, and it's a little bit slow here and there, but I still love the game all in all, including its flaws. And that's, I think, something that we should all strive to achieve, to acknowledge our love for these games and for these other media franchises. This isn't just about games, but of course I'm focusing mostly on games because that's what I'd like to talk about. One of the other problems with Blind Fandom is that it's also just mentally unhealthy, I think, to put something on that high of a pedestal. One of these things that tends to go hand in hand with Blind Fandom is that people seem to attach their own self-worth to the media that they consume. I mean, we've all seen the memes here and there of like, oh, liking The Office isn't a personality trait. Well, the same thing applies to the video games that we play, the anime we watch, and the books that we read. It's not a personality trait to like these things. Blind fans have attached their identities, though, to a lot of these games and these media properties that they consume, so much to the point where they take it as a personal insult when somebody points out that there's an issue with how one aspect of this media is. They'll take it as a personal insult whenever you question or whenever you criticize that media property. Blind fans put games up on pedestals, and their creators are godlike figures, and anybody who disagrees, any naysayers, are heretics to be ostracized. But here's the truth. The media that you consume doesn't make you who you are. You are more than just the collection of the media that you consume, and to disagree with me on that is to insult yourself far more than I ever could. True fandom is to love a game, a piece of media, in spite of its flaws, or even because of its flaws, not because it doesn't have any flaws. And to try to pretend that the quirks and idiosyncrasies don't even exist at all is, honestly, as an artist, I feel like that would be downright insulting to the creators. Because how can you even be a fan of a game if you haven't even seen it with eyes unclouded? Today's video was kind of a little bit of a change of pace, a slightly different sort of format than usual, but I thought it was kind of fun, sort of an off-the-cuff sort of video essay style sort of deal, and I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought. I had some other ideas for similar things, so if you'd like to see more of these in the future, let me know down in the comments, as well as if you liked it, please give it a like, and also if you're new here, consider subscribing. Most of my videos aren't going to be preachy like this, but I felt like I just had something important to say this time. And if you're from the future and somebody sent you a link to this video, please try to take it in the spirit in which it's intended, and that I feel like we can all just do better to make our own fandoms more welcoming and more warm and inviting and healthy, and together we can make the fandoms that we enjoy even better. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.